very long here. And I read about this story that during a family dinner, a little girl looked up at her father and said, "Daddy, you're the boss in this family, right?" Father was so pleased, a little bit puffed up, and he confidently replied, "Yes, my little princess." And the little girl continued, "That's because Mommy puts you in charge, right?" That's good. The truth. Today is National Chocolate Ice Cream Day. And all you need is chocolate ice cream, and there are so many options, as you know, and you can even make it yourself. Chocolate ice cream is the second most common flavor, second only to vanilla. And chocolate ice cream has been in existence well over 100 years and has been popular in the United States for about 125 years. Now, in my personal opinion, chocolate ice cream is almost as good as Bailey's and cream. So we will continue with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. And Rayhan is going to do our Rotary Minute for us today.
Good afternoon. You know, our club does water well project in Bangladesh, and we need almost 50 water well in Bangladesh, especially in rural area, and thousands people getting benefited in Bangladesh to get the drinking waters. Thank you for all of your help, because without your help we could not do it. So we are doing this continued process. I found a nice poem from the water wells invocation, so I'm going to read it. Stay with me. Before that, clean water is a whole family concern around the world. Finding water is a daily challenge for young girls, moms, sons. With these charitable donations today, you can lift the whole burden. We'll come alongside with our local teams. We'll build water wells and other water sources. Then together we'll make sure they keep working of years to come, creating opportunity all along the way. The poem is, I like this poem. I take this, the water of life. I declare it the water of light. As I bring it within my body, it allows my body to glow. I take this, the water of light. I declare it the water of God. I am a master in all that I am. Thank you.
Thank you, Rayhan. We're very lucky that we get a second Rotary Minute today. So, Grant?
I don't know how we get the foul up today, but sometimes it's better to have two than none. Today we're fortunate to meet at an American landmark and soon to be part of a World Heritage Site. We'll soon be able to add our mark to a mural that celebrates the events that help make this place the landmark it is. I'm particularly proud of the members of this club who led the way in establishing Rotary Century Park at the Crossroads of Freedom. There we not only built an iconic clock and memorialized the club's 100th anniversary, but we demonstrated service of ourselves by establishing an urban park. In that park, we commemorate two nationally historic events that occurred at the intersection about a century apart. We succinctly but ably tell our residents and visitors the compelling and inspiring stories that highlight our nation's continuing struggle for freedom. Rotarians continue to be engaged in supporting peace, both at home and abroad. And we should never forget that the quest for peace goes hand in hand with mankind's struggle for freedom. Thank you, Rotarians, for your continuing support for programs and activities that make a difference in the lives of others. Thanks.
Thank you, Grant. Our guest introductions today will be done by Ron Barrett, and as he makes his way up here, I want to tell you, you may have read already, that Ron will be leaving our club. He's moving to Delaware for a new job, and this may be your last meeting, is that right? Okay, well, I'm going to ask you to just hold the microphone for a second because we have a special little something. Ron gets to wear our Rotary superhero cape all through the rest of this meeting because he has, lucky Ron, he has taken on covering coats and has taken total charge of it and has done a fantastic job this year. And not only that, he has already passed the torch and done a wonderful job, and Cody Frederickson will be taking that over. So he did not leave us in lurch. So let's give a hand to Ron right now.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to be part of this club. Again, I intended to be here a lot longer than I had been, but unfortunately, the new situation presented itself, and I am already checking out the Rotary clubs in Dover, Delaware, where I will be. So thank you very much. You guys you have an awesome club. Keep up the good work. You're really awesome to be a part of. So applause for all of you as well. So we know what to do when we introduce guests. So the guests will, if they would, when I call your name, if you would just stand, and from there we will welcome you. So our first guest is Orion Jordan.
Hi, Orion.
And he is a family member application has been received, so we welcome him. And our next guest is Laurel Williams. She is Zion's mom, and she's a host mom to Leo and Tia as well, and a guest of Betsy. And a guest of Joni is Ruby Knudsen. She is a student and a swimmer. So welcome to all of you.
This month's featured charity is actually very special because a few months ago, our board decided that we would do a month of our cup money for our outbound Rotary Youth Exchange student, and that is Zion Williams as she's making her way up here. And rather than dividing the pool for the year, we are going to be supporting her with whatever your contributions are for this month. And I will let you know, we have a challenge check right here going into the cup, and we have a matching challenge check right here going into the cup. So I really want to encourage you to be very generous for Zion. And we have a really special treat today. Zion has worked so hard during high school and has done so many different things. It gives me goosebumps just to think of it. And one of the things she does is dance. And so she's going to share with us a brief dance that has taken her years to perfect. So Zion? you to dance a cappella. Have you ever done that? Okay, this is your first time, so we get to focus everything on her. Okay. Yes. John Wagner, if you would like to come up here and say a few words about the Freedom Festival.
Well, I managed to grab most of you when you came in, the way politicians have a tendency to do. And I thrust into your hands a slip where you could sign up to volunteer for the Freedom Festival. Sue Bullock is in the very back. Sue, stand up. She's got big charts over there at the back of the hall where you can see what happens at what time. But we need every Rotarian doing something for the Freedom Festival, one way or the other. Some of you are going to be out of town, and you've written checks to us, and we are grateful for that. Some of you have been major sponsors for the event, but we need all hands on deck. One thing you can do, look up at the blue banner that we've got up at the front. Can you see it from there? This is what we're going to carry at the front of the march. The march leaves from here at noon. And so if you can't do anything else and you got to do something that morning, come and walk with us. It's a little more than a mile. If you can't make it a mile, there's a bus you can jump on and go to the rest of the way down to the Rotary Freedom Park. But we need volunteers. We're still raising money, and we need people to march. And lastly, we have these gorgeous posters that KDWU just did for us, and they're in the back. If you have a place at your business or your hair salon or your barber shop or the grocery store or someplace where you can put this up where people can see it, we would appreciate your walking out of here today with a poster and a signed volunteer commitment if you can do it. And if you need a place where you can just sit, we need barricade guards. And so there's an answer for everything. Thank you. We're looking forward to seeing you in just 3 weeks.
Thank you, Joan. So I need to give you a little update, informational, on what's called Star Club status. And I'm sure many of you know what this is, but some don't. A Star Club is a club that's designated from the Rotary International, as a club who donates $100 per capita to the Rotary International Foundation. And you get, for this you get a Star Club designation, and you also are eligible to apply for an additional 10% in the grant requests, which come later this year. You all have been so extremely generous this year, but I need to let you know where we are. We are, our club, because of about 180 members, we have to raise $18,000 in order to receive that Star Club status. And right now, we are about $7,000 short of that. And I know some of you do your donations toward the end of the Rotary year, which is July 1, and if you're thinking about it, that would be wonderful. Unfortunately, I found out Polio Plus donations do not count toward this, but I just needed to let you know where we are with the Star Club status. We have a proposed new member, Susan Alexander. If you will please stand. She got mentioned and introduced just a little bit ago. Susan is a professor of education at Washburn University. I'm sure you've seen her face around many of our activities. And she is sponsored by Lee Morris, and she's coming in with a family membership. So Susan, we're very glad to have your application. And James Jeffries. Is James Jeffries here? Oh, there he is. Great. James is receiving, you don't get off that easy. James is receiving his red badge today, and James is a commercial loan officer at Fidelity State Bank and Trust Company. He is sponsored by Stan Martindale. And James filled out his informational sheet, and I'll tell you a couple things about him. He has joined Rotary to allow him a platform to work with others to improve our community. His interests are youth, community service, and fellowship. And James, I'm very pleased to give you your red badge, which signifies you are now an official member of our club. You will look forward to turning that red badge into a blue badge, and there's some little activities that go along with that. So we are absolutely thrilled that you are now a member of our club. So let's stand and give him a round of applause. And I want to remind you one last time that next week we have a couple of really great celebrations coming up. First of all, we'll recognize Blanche, District Governor-elect Blanche Parks, as she will become the District Governor. And there'll be a ceremony between 5:30 and 7. Come early for that. We'll have some appetizers, and then we will follow that by a club celebration. Now, I have to tell you that Linda did all of this stuff, and she said it was a celebration of President Grace. This is a celebration of you all and all that you have done this year. So please come. We'll have a fabulous meal and a great time together. Registration, I am told, has been extended to Monday. So we will go on with our program, and Kathleen Williams-Height will introduce our program today. Oops. Ann Palmer will be introducing our program today.
Somebody take a picture of her.
Oh, gosh. Here, can you hear me? I've done a lot of things in Rotary over the years, but I have never been asked to do anything that makes me happier than to introduce Sarah. So, as an only child, I always bemoaned the fact that I did not have siblings, therefore, you know, I didn't never have nieces and nephews. But Sarah and her sister Emily have made up for that. Because I met Sarah first while Margaret was pregnant with her. So I don't think it goes back any farther than that. And my daughter and I sat on the front porch of their house with balloons waiting for Emily to come home from the hospital. They were both in Chris's wedding and both in Andrea's wedding. So I am thrilled to introduce Sarah. She has a vast background in arts, in communications, from the University of Kansas, from Topeka High, and I just learned yesterday, she has not yet put it on her bio, that she is the youngest president ever by, was it 45 years? I was joking. Many years of the Topeka High Historical Society. Yeah. Sarah has embarked on, I think, one of the most ambitious art projects in this city. And she has attacked it with passion and organization and as a first-class cheerleader. So she is here today to tell us about that.
Hey everybody, I'm going to hope this mouse still works from up here. So, I am Sarah Fisell. I am the Executive Director of ArtsConnect. For some of you who've been in Rotary for a while, you have seen, I've come to talk to you once about our murals because you all helped to support the mural that is located at the intersection of Huntoon and Lane. So I'll tell you a little special secret about that mural as we get to that slide. But what I've done is done a little before and after of our murals that we've painted so far. And I'll kind of scroll through that as I talk. We started painting murals in 2013. Lieutenant Joe Perry, the Topeka Police Department, approached me and said, we just went to this police training where they said we can make this city safer and better and stronger through installing public works of art, and I don't know what the deal is with that, but I think you can help me. And I said, yeah, let's do it. It is really cool as an arts organization to have a partner in an organization like the police department for a city like ours. It's a big deal, and we're lucky to have that. So this is Avondale East. We painted, this is over in the Highcrest neighborhood. Last summer we did this mural, which was sort of a small mural. It's over south of the Expo Center on a container that is owned by the Master Gardeners. It was painted by John Sebelius, and we did this as a small project with good partnership in those gardeners to kind of get set as we got prepared for this big, huge, massive mural that is going up across the street as we talk in here. It made their garden a lot cooler and a lot more comfortable for them to work in. This is the 4th Street Bridge. As you can see from this picture down here, it was getting tagged by gang graffiti about every day. This is a bridge that kids, families, it's a really pedestrian neighborhood. They spend every day walking across that, and people in this town deserve better of their spaces. And so we partnered with the city of Topeka. They gave us permission. They helped us close the street. They sandblasted all the inches in some places of gray cover-up paint. They were covering up gang graffiti almost every day. And so that's what it looks like now. I would encourage you, if you go over there, to walk across it, because the pedestrian side is fundamentally different than the street side, because those residents there see their neighborhood differently than the rest of this community sees it. And they were interested in being able to tell that part of their story. This is the Rotary, this is the mural that the Rotary helped support. It is at the intersection of Huntoon and Lane, and if you will notice this scroll, I did a little blow up of the wax seal, because does anybody notice what the wax seal is? It's the Rotary wheel. So, it's a cool little homage and a way to show our appreciation for your support of our projects. This is at Meadows Elementary School. It was a collaboration between printmaker Justin Marable. It was sort of our first foray into taking artists who don't usually work in this scale and making this big, nasty retaining wall look like something that kids can be a part of every day. This was our first wall. This is the wall that Joe Perry called me. Lieutenant Joe called and said, we gotta do something. And this is the everyday gray cover-up paint. And this is a picture in action learned as we went, and we are now at our 10th one across the street. So it's a really big deal to have made it that far. This is next to G's Custard. Joe Gutierrez, State Farm Agency, was where he kept a different set of clothes at his office. So he could go out every single day and paint over whoever had been there the night before. And since this went up now 3 years ago, he has not had to touch that part of the wall. This is our most recent. We did the skate park at Ripon. We said, we'll buy the paint if you come out and paint. And those kiddos at the skate park are just, they're using the park more. They are, it's chased off some of the, couple of guys who are causing some trouble and allowed the kids who really want to get organized and use their park and make their park better, has allowed them to do so. So it's another good example of partnership between us and Shawnee County Parks and Rec. And this is the big one. This is artist Michael Toombs. He is here with us today. This is his rendering of the wall across the streets, and I will let Michael talk about it. Let me tell you a little bit about Michael. Great clap. Michael and I don't know if we found each other. I don't know. The universe intervened. We've been talking about this wall for almost 3 years now. We saw artwork from children that represented everything we needed to see in our world about 3 years ago through the Living the Dream art contest. We were on the second floor of this building and looked out the window and saw this mural wall and thought, there it is. And everybody in the room said, oh, that's a really big wall. And I went across the street and asked Larry Hill, who owns the building, who happens to live, so this is very Topeka. I walked across the street and I saw the name of the building and went in, because what's the worst they can say is no. And turns out Larry and his wife Carol live in the home I grew up in next door to the Palmers. And so being a known quantity, being kind of all the forces aligned, the universe called and we got ourselves a mural. So, and I'll let Michael kind of talk about the process and his background, what he's doing currently in Kansas City, because what he does is his day job, I guess you'd say, is pretty amazing and has a big impact on a lot of kiddos. So with that, Michael Toombs.
So good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Zion, stand up. She's still here? What a vision. This lady has imagination. This is the kind of art we want to support. Did anybody else's heart kind of do that when she was dancing? That's the power of art. Thank you, Zion. Give her one more. That's the power in art. This young lady came up here and she spontaneously danced for us, and that may have injected something very special into our day. And that's what art can do for a community. When Sarah reached out and asked if I would be interested in being a part of this, the first response I had was, yes, I want to do that. In Kansas City, I work for the Jackson County Prosecutor's Office. I work for the mayor, Sly James. I don't know if you know it, but Alicia James, Sly's wife, has come and painted on the mural about 5 times now. She comes probably once a week and just paints on the mural. She's got a degree in art, and when she heard about this project, she just made it a point to be a part of it. And that's how this mural reaches out to people. We've had people come in from all over the world to this center and then traipse across and put their mark on that mural, which is the whole purpose of it. What you're looking at here is some of the artwork that was submitted by the young people. And one of Larry's conditions in allowing the wall to be used for this project was that he wanted it to be a representational of the young people in the community's vision of what community looks like, what diversity looks like, what brown meant to them. And so what we promised him was that we would make sure to go through that work and then select the pieces, and working with the ArtsConnect organization, we would set up committees, and then that art would filter through these committees, and what was selected was then turned into the collage that Sarah showed you a moment ago, this one. So all of this is the work that was submitted, and then I cut it into little pieces and then reassembled it, and this became the proposed concept for the mural. So now, what needed to happen next was we needed to have a group of very inspired artists who would be willing to come in and paint the artwork submitted by the young people from the school system here in Topeka. And so we put a hit out through ArtsConnect and through Living the Dream and through the newspaper here locally and the television stations. And we had so much art to choose from. To be honest with you, it was very difficult trying to select the artists because so many of them were so good and so accomplished here in Topeka. The thing that was kind of amazing to me was that after we went through all the work and selected out the artists that we could afford to pay something to, because I'm going to tell you that what we were paying them is nothing. But they are so excited about being a part of this process, and they come up there. We're here 3 days a week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays, and they have come every day, and they're painting every day, and they're putting their twist on these designs. And if you kind of burn this to memory and then go across, you'll see these images. We had to draw them out first, take all the color away, and then basically project it with a high definition projector at night, and then get up there and trace out the designs. That's how we reproduced that detail. Then once it was all traced out, the artist would come in, and the first thing we did was we offered up that lower portion of the mural to the community. So we've had well over 1,000 people come and paint on the mural so far. And they're just painting their little patchwork images that most of them just wanted to put some paint on the wall. They didn't, most people tell you, I can't paint, I can't even draw. Well, no, I can't draw a straight line. I said, why would you want to draw a straight line? So we put a little paintbrush in their hand, give them some yellow paint, and say, just put that yellow paint right there. And they'll sit there, and then they say, that tongue is hanging out, and, hours gone by. Put down the art supplies. Step away from the art supplies. But they are having a ball. They are having a ball. We have a poem at the bottom of the mural that was a poem written by Annette Billings that offers and invites community people to come together and celebrate their diversity and the warmth and the love of the community. And you see here the patchwork imagery of all of the contributors to the mural so far. And above you see the work coming together of a lot of the professional artists that are working on the project. One of the things I hope that I leave you with today is how art can be used in so many more ways than what people sometimes think art can be used for. When I ask young people and adults alike, what is art? The first thing they say to me is what you draw, it's what you paint, it's what you sing. I said, can you be an artist and be a lawyer? Can you be an artist and be a doctor? Some of the same passions that you have to cultivate to be a good doctor are the same passions you cultivate to be an artist. Because in my opinion, it's an artist who operates on a person and does it perfectly and leaves you with very little evidence of them ever being there. It's an artist. They have that passion, that sensitivity, that commitment. That's what artists are. They bring life and purpose to our communities. You go into a community and it's quiet and it's kind of drum and there's not a lot going on. That's because sometimes the arts is not as present. You go into Kansas City, into the Crossroads district, where at one time it was so quiet people couldn't believe that it was that way during a weekday. And then they brought in Power and Light District, and they brought in a bunch of artists, and they started something called First Fridays, and the next thing you know, they had life, and they had businesses, and now it's what it should be. No longer is it facades. No longer is it just an act to try and prove to somebody you're something you're not. But now it's a very vibrant and giving and caring and loving community. And you have that in your communities here, and I think you already know that. And a lot of it is exhibited in your artists. They want to give back. They want to contribute. They want to create. So the mayor of Kansas City asked me if I would help him in a process called Teens in Transition. And Teens in Transition is a program that we do to provide creative experiences for young people who are at high risk of committing crimes or having crimes committed against them. So basically, I come in and I facilitate a process that takes those 40 young people, which I just started this Monday doing that program, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Then I'm here Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Sometimes I sleep on Sunday. And so that program is in its 5th year. It's a $120,000 a year program. We pay our young people. They create art. This year we're partnering with the Lyric Opera and the Kansas City Museum. And the Lyric Opera wants us to have our kids produce a back set for the West Side Story that's been rewritten. It's going to be traveling across the country, and the set will travel with the troupe. But they wanted something artistic because the kids respond to that. We create an environment that's safe for them, that's inspirational to them, that's creative for them. And I basically bring in about 10 artists as my team. And we work with these young people 3 days a week. The same model we used to do that is the same model we're implementing across the street on the wall. When we opened this project up on the 12th, I believe it was, we had people everywhere coming from every direction wanting to put paint on the mural. Well, there's a system to the madness. And so we had a method in which we engaged them, we helped them engage the wall. We produce music, we have snacks, we have paint, we have brushes, we have artists that love to do the work, and the result is the images you saw popping up on the mural. This mural will resonate with all the passion and the love and the commitment that the artists have and the community has given well after we're gone. What you see manifesting on that wall is the outcome, but what is the art is what you see happening at the wall when the people start to interact. If you pay real close attention to that, you'll understand art in a totally different way. So I say all this to you because I think it's important to know that should you have issues with social and economic problems in your community, some of the solution can be found in the arts. If you can just find the right person to orchestrate, that's what I call it, orchestrating. Orchestrate all that human investment and help them to convey their passion, their love. We create an environment where people from all walks come together and for a day spend time shoulder to shoulder creating. And when they leave, they have an entirely different opinion of each other. And it's a lot broader than the one that we hear coming across the airwaves these days. We can come together, we can work together. The legacy mural, the legacy of Brown is us all being able to do just that. So I hope that as you go forward, and as this young woman here comes forward from time to time and says we have some opportunities, that you will respond. We have some very powerful artists out there from Topeka. I made it a point to select the majority of the artists from Topeka. And then I brought 10 artists up here from Kansas City. And the money I'm paying the artists from Kansas City is coming out of my own personal pocket. And the money that we're paying the artists from Topeka is coming out of ArtsConnect in this community's pocket. And I'm telling you, it's been a long time since I've worked with artists with the kind of passion and love that I have found in these artists in Topeka. And all they really want is a chance to be seen and heard and to develop their work. So I hope you don't just let this thing drop after this mural is complete, because one last thing. Sometime in mid-July, we're going to present to you a time-lapse video of the production of the mural. We're videotaping every session from the time the wall was prepped to the time we are now and whatever happens today all the way to the end of this month. And we're going to condense it down to a 45-minute presentation. We're going to put chairs out there. We're going to drape that wall, and at night we're going to bring everybody together and we're going to show that video, and I hope you all will come and you will bring people and you'll come and see what Topeka did when this was happening in real time. So again, thank you so much. Thank you, Sarah, for giving me the opportunity to be a part of something so wonderful and meeting somebody like you who seems to really care about this mission. And I hope you don't ever lose the vision, because, you know, Topeka deserves you and you deserve them, and you guys are giving something very wonderful to those young people out there. So they're really hoping for a lot from you. So keep cooking. Thank you, everybody.
I think we do have a few minutes for questions. Does anybody have questions about, for myself or with Grace is saying 3 minutes. So that's two couple, yes, Chris.
How many more murals do you have planned? I mean, obviously forever, but how many more near future?
As an organization, this one will hopefully be wrapped by the end of June. And then as an organization, we are going to go for the fewer beige walls, the better. So tonight we have a mural going up at Blaisdell Pool. So if you get over to the pool, we're doing, because you know, one mural isn't enough. So we're doing they're doing the entryway and a couple of the brick standing walls that are there at Blaisdell Park. We have tentative agreements from, I think we're at 6, I've got 6 businesses on my list who are tired of covering up graffiti on their walls. And so after we get this bad boy knocked out over here, we're gonna start moving on to some smaller walls, getting as many people looped into this as possible.
One time I scared Sarah when she said, "Can we do this mural? It's huge." And I said, "We can do it. We got lots of ideas. Things can happen." She was like, "Oh my God." So while we were up there painting about a week ago, I looked around the corner and I said, "That water tower looks cool." We can do little angel-like soldiers inside those indentures all the way around and put a crown on the top.
So yeah, so there's that. Way back in the line, then Grace is gonna yank us off the stage in a second. We use an artist acrylic paint that gets a really sticky binder, heavy prime coat, and then the color goes on, and it's a heavy pigmented, kind of an amended sign paint that's made in California. And then it is sealed with a gloss sunscreen / sealant that goes over it. Our oldest mural is the one at Seward and Lake in Oakland. And it gets pretty mean sun, and it's red and yellow, which are hard colors to maintain. And we haven't touched it since we painted it, and it's 5 years old this summer. So it's been a combination that works. Yeah.
Are there reasons other than the obvious that the tagging stops when the art goes on?
You want to take that one? 45 seconds.
Artists have a respect for one another's work. They just do. Even tagging artists do. And so once that work goes up there, the artists, the taggers kind of feel like, well, this means something. So I don't want to disfigure that. But if a tagger came and hit another tagger's work, then it becomes a battle. So if it's art, we leave it alone. If it's a tag, we tag over it. And that's where the battles start. So it's almost better to put art there, because once it's art, they feel like the community cares about it enough to respect it, will respect it, they move on to another spot.
Wow, that was so fantastic. I'm just so totally inspired by everything that's happened today. We are so grateful for your presentation today. And you may know that we have a tradition in our club. Instead of giving you a silly little gift, we present a book to Ross Elementary School, and it just happens to be Ice Cream Summer. How appropriate. So both of you will sign this before you leave. And also we have a little rotary coin that has the 4-way test on the back, and I'll get those to you. If you will remember, next week, we will not have a noon meeting, but we'll be meeting at the Country Club starting at 5:30. and followed by the dinner at 7 o'clock. So if I'm very excited about it. It's going to be lots of fun. So we will close the meeting by standing and reciting the 4-week test plus 1. Of the things we think, say, or do.